Hi, my name is Morgan. I'm from Canada and I'm an English teacher living in Vietnam. In this video, I'm going to show you how to learn English faster and more effectively. I'm going to share with you 3 techniques to be successful in learning English. My family immigrated to Canada in 1979. This is where my English story begins. We settled in a small town in central Canada called Estevan, a town of 10,000 people, and at that time, we were the only Vietnamese family in the town. I think this was the biggest reason why I became fluent in English so quickly. It took me less than 1 year to become confident and fluent in English. As far as I can remember, learning a second language was much easier than relearning my first language, which was Vietnamese. Now, what do I mean by that? When I was 7 years old, my family immigrated to Canada. Our first home was in a small town where there weren't any Vietnamese people. I was immersed in Canadian culture and the English language for most of the day, 5 days a week. I had to adapt because there was no other choice. It took me less than a year to become fluent, where I could understand all my classes and could communicate clearly with friends, teachers, coaches on my sports team. I learned naturally through absorbing and producing, like a child learning from their parents. This is tip number 1, creating an environment to learn. This means that you must find a place, a group, or a situation where you are forced to use English. An English club is one way, where for a couple of hours a week, everyone is of the same mindset and focused on just learning English. I believe that when you can't rely on Vietnamese, you will find ways to express yourself. Expressing yourself could mean using gestures or body language, which is important even in your native language. You can paraphrase or explain what you mean if you don't have the vocabulary. This is one area many of you can improve. When you don't know a word, use other words you know to explain. You don't always need a direct translation. Trying to always translate slows down communication and fluency. In an English-only environment, you will practice repetition, trial and error, copying, mimicking. Learning something new also means putting in the time. Now, putting in the time is not like doing homework. It's having the opportunity to use the language. Like a child learning to speak, he or she won't be able to speak until much time has been spent on hearing the language, on copying the language, and repeating it numerous times. Having a goal is essential. Now, I didn't really set a goal when I was young. My environment naturally set that goal for me. It was like learn English so I could be a normal boy, survive the environment, and be successful. Now, this leads us to tip number 2, which is discipline. You must set your own goals, but make sure your goal is clear, it states how, and is measurable. What do I mean by this? Now, if your goal is, I'm going to be better at English, or I want to get band 6 in IELTS, these are not clear goals. There's no how, and it can't be measured. Now, if you say, I want a band 6 in 2 years, I'm going to sign up at an English center. At home, I'm going to practice pronunciation 15 minutes a day. I'm going to practice my listening skills 20 minutes a day on YouTube. These goals are clear and they can be measured. The older people, like my mom, uncles, and aunts in my family, They went to English classes, they did homework, they practiced, but it took them a very long time to learn. Why? I think there are two reasons. One is age. The younger you start, the faster and more efficient you will learn. Two is the need or the goal. I was surrounded by people who only spoke English, while they had a lot of contact with people who spoke Vietnamese. Now I currently have a 4-year-old daughter named Jasmine who I'm raising in Vietnam. She needs to learn both languages. Now, she will naturally learn Vietnamese in Vietnam, but she also needs to learn English to return to Canada. So when did I start teaching her English? The answer is before she was born. Now, since the day before she was born, I have only spoken English to her, only English. I use music to teach her.
Hey, where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from? I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy.
I believe music is key in learning a new language. Now, there are many people who can sing English songs, but they can't speak it. This is very interesting, but I think it's very simple to explain. They are just copying the sounds, which is one of the key factors in learning pronunciation. Now, as the months went by, I continued to create a 100% English environment when we were together. As she learned to roll over.
Come on, baby, go. You can do it. You can do it, Jasmine. Kick your leg over. Here, no, kick your leg over. Yeah, there you go. There you go, baby. There you go. That's a good girl. Yeah, that's a good girl.
As she learned to eat by herself.
Can Daddy have some? Give me some. Give me some. Hey, give me some.
During playtime.
Hey, Jasmine. Do you have a new toy? Did Grandma buy that for you? Can you shake it? Can you say hello to Daddy? Hi.
During bath time.
Splash. Splash. Here, you do it. Splash. Splash.
When I taught her to swim at 10 months old.
Kick your legs. Kick your legs, honey. Kick your legs.
While she exercised.
Stretch. Here we go. Stretch. Good girl. 1, 2. 1, 2. Stretch. Come on, stretch. Ooh. Ready? 1, 2. 1, 2.
Although at this time she couldn't speak, she was building her English vocabulary. Why don't I speak Vietnamese to her? I only get to spend a few hours a day with her. The rest of the time, she's in a Vietnamese environment, a Vietnamese school. So I don't worry that she'll forget Vietnamese while she lives in Vietnam. Now, as she got older, her first words were dada and mama, just like in any language in any country. At this age, children can't really differentiate language. They're just repeating and beginning to connect the sounds to things like when you say daddy or mommy or cat and dog.
Dog. Ang. Ang. Wink. Wink. Wink.
Before speaking, children can understand and recognize words and actions.
Say hi, Jasmine. Hi. Where's your nose? Where's your ear? Good. Head? Head? Head. Good. Who does Daddy love? Where's the pig? Can you say dog? Dog? Yeah, dog. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Good girl. Sit down. Sit down. Good girl.
They remember through music, cartoons, and their parents. They understand, but they can't speak yet. I remember the first time Jasmine started singing when she was 2 years old. It came out of the blue and a real surprise. She had heard this song many, many times before, but one day it just kind of came out.
Mommy said it do. Mommy said it do. Dad said it do. Dad said it do. They said.
At 2 years old, she knew more English than Vietnamese. But when she started going to school, that changed because her environment changed. I got to spend less time with her, and she spent all day at school with Vietnamese friends and Vietnamese teachers. I saw a shift in her language skills, and Vietnamese was starting to overtake English.
You sing Cứu bộ đội.
I can't.
Okay, which one?
Ba tiếng con.
Okay, go.
Ba thương con vì con giống mẹ. Mẹ thương con vì con giống ba. Trả lời ra yêu thương nhau. Xa nào
I continue to provide for her an English environment.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Are you okay? Are you okay? Was that fun? Are you okay?
1, 2, 3, go!
Hey, what are you doing all by yourself?
Yeah, was that fun? Again? Do you want to go again? Go again.
Now that she is 4 years old, she can communicate fluently. Her vocabulary grows daily, although her Vietnamese is still better than her English, which is fair, I guess.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Chef Jasmine. What are you doing today?
I'm cooking some foods.
What are you cooking?
Cook some cakes.
Some cakes.
And some orange juice.
What do we put in here?
It's orange juice.
Orange juice.
Although I speak 99% English to her, the amazing thing is she speaks 100% English to me. People often ask me, how do you teach your daughter to speak English so well? I ask them, do you teach your child Vietnamese? They say no. Their children learn from parents speaking to them and naturally learn from them. But I think it's really communicating with them.
Can you make me some tea?
Hey, where's tea there?
Okay. Is it ready yet?
No, it's not yet.
But I'm so hungry. Do you have any seafood in there? Do you have like a shrimp or lobster or fish or crabs?
I have no crabs in them. I have some food.
But look, Jet's so hungry today. Look at Jet. I'm so hungry. Can you cook Jet? Hot, hot, hot.
It's very hot, Dad. It is right on the cookies. So food. Get some bowl.
Where's the bowl? There's a bowl in your box right there. There's some red bowls right there. You see it? Right by the cup. That's not a bowl. What's that?
It's a plate.
It's a plate. There's.
Now, Jasmine is lucky. She has someone to give her the gift of another language. So if you don't have a parent who can speak English, then what do? Well, one, you can create yourself an English environment. Increase your exposure to English through music, through stories, films, games, and interactions. Focus on reaction and fluency rather than grammar. Encourage confidence in your child or in yourself. You need to be disciplined. Discipline means creating a learning schedule. Set a time, set clear goals, and be consistent in your learning. Just like learning anything, it will take time. And tip number 3, how to learn vocabulary. 1, write it down. 2, define it. And 3, use it. Now, most people write down vocabulary and then with Vietnamese definitions in their notebook. This is okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But they could have like 100 pages of vocabulary, but only remember 20 to 40% of them. Hi, Jasmine. My advice to you is invest a little bit of time at the beginning, then learn. Invest a little bit of time when learning a new word or a phrase, right, Jasmine? Jasmine, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. Come here. Come here. Let me see what's going on with your hair. What's wrong with your hair? Did you just wake up?
Not yet. I need to sleep more.
You want to sleep more? But I think it's late now. You want to get up and have a snack? What happened to your hair? You look like a monster.
I'm sleeping. My hair is dry. It looks silly.
It looks silly. Here are 2 examples. The first one is for beginners. Now, let's say your new vocabulary is the word bridge. So step 1, we write down the word bridge. Step 2, we can define it. Now, let's try to keep it simple, okay? So, but define in English. So a bridge can be maybe go over water. Cars go over water. You can draw a picture of a bridge. Now, all 3 of these will help you remember. And at this point, don't worry about the grammar, okay? If you say go over water, cars go over water, and the grammar is not correct, don't worry about it. Step number 3, use it. You can write in a sentence or a situation, for example, there is bridge near house. Okay, remember, don't worry about the grammar. There is bridge near house. It is Cầu Sài Gòn or Saigon Bridge. The bridge go over Saigon River. So even when your English is not great and you're just at the beginner's level, you can still write down a sentence to help you use the new word, the new vocabulary. You can also write, I can see many cars on bridge. The bridge is tall. Now, this example is one for more advanced learners. Our new word is disintegrated. Disintegrated. Step 1, write it down in your book. Use a dictionary to find the definition. Step 2, define it. Write down the definition. Remember, we're trying not to use Vietnamese to write down the definition. So keep your definition simple. Disintegrated. You could write down means to break up or fall apart into many small pieces. An easier word that means the same is like dissolve. Step number 3, use it. Write out a sentence or a situation that has this word in it. For example, you can say, in our science class today, our teacher taught us about acids and disintegration. He put a piece of cloth into the acid and the cloth disintegrated very quickly. Another example could be, the fire disintegrated most of the building structure. Now, a couple times a day, find situations to use the new word, even if it's by yourself. I hope you have enjoyed learning about the 3 ways which I think can help people learn English faster and more efficiently. Remember, learning something new always takes some time. So good luck to all of you and hope to see you next time. If you would like to see more videos on how to learn English, click the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications.